Omaha's news leader. KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5 starts with breaking news.
Police cruisers follow an ambulance on its way to Nebraska Medicine after a helping officer called this afternoon. Police sources tell us an officer was shot and wounded in whatever happened at 30th and Laurel.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Michelle Bandour is live at that scene for us. Michelle, what do you know?
Well, David and Alexander, we are at 29th and Laurel. We've been out here for about 45 minutes in this area. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the heavy police presence that we do have here at this intersection. It was around 4 o'clock that an helping officer call went out. We do know that an officer was shot. There were 2 people taken to Nebraska Medicine in critical condition. We don't know the condition of that officer at this moment or the identity of the Omaha police officer. We're also waiting to hear information as to the circumstances behind the shooting, as to why this happened and what went down here about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Officers did let us know that they will be giving us a briefing here shortly, so that is when we hope to get confirmation and figure out exactly what happened here. We do know that our Laurel Street is closed down here from 29th to about halfway in between 30th and 31st. 30th Street is closed, I believe, till Fort, and I'm not sure how far south it goes. Definitely past Omaha Fort right there on 30th Street. But just recapping here, we do have an officer shot about 4 o'clock this afternoon, taken to Nebraska Medicine in critical condition. We don't know the confirmation of who that officer is. We do know that he was alert as he was being transported to Nebraska Medicine. We don't have the identity of the other person who was transported to Nebraska Medicine, but again, a very heavy police presence here. It looks like I do see Lieutenant Darcy Tierney walking down the sidewalk. Hopefully she's going to be the one who will give us an update here shortly. We're just trying to get more information. Hold on a second. Okay, she just told me she's not the one who's giving us an update here. Do you know how soon we'll have an update?
Yeah, they'll be down here momentarily.
Momentarily. So we're told that momentarily we'll have an update from Omaha Police. But again, to recap, that we do have an officer that was taken to Nebraska Medicine in critical condition. He's alert and stable, I was told at the time. Another victim from the scene. We're still trying to figure out the circumstances surrounding the shooting here. But again, as we're just been told by Lieutenant Darcy Tierney, we will have an update momentarily from Omaha Police, and as soon as that happens, we'll bring that back to you. Reporting live at 29th and Laurel, Michelle Bandour, KETV NewsWatch 7.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. We do see Police Chief Todd Schmatter there. We will have the update for you live in the newscast when we get it.
And this is already a solemn day for police. Sergeant Jason Ty Pratt was shot during a simple traffic stop on this day in 2003. Pratt died 8 days later. He left behind 2 daughters and a wife.
At this hour, Hurricane Florence is packing 130-mile-per-hour winds, continuing on its path toward the Carolinas.
And that's not even the biggest danger. FEMA says Florence's storm surge has the highest potential to kill the most amount of people.
We take these forecast points, the closer these lines are together, that means this thing's slowing down. And when we slow down like that over land, that's going to compound our issues with storm surge and also the heavy rain.
Nebraska's Task Force 1 is on its way to Raleigh, North Carolina right now. It will help with search and rescue efforts after the storm hits. 44 team members left this morning.
Water rescue, search, large area search, but they're probably going to utilize every team in the system.
And within the last hour, we've learned the Red Cross is sending a team of volunteers to respond too.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Taylor Barth is live with those breaking details tonight.
David, Alexandra, 11 people from Nebraska have already deployed, including 3 volunteers from here in the metro. They will help provide support for transportation and supplies and also provide leadership at Red Cross mega shelters in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia as Hurricane Florence makes landfall. The Red Cross says it will be able to shelter up to 100,000 people, and the number of those deploying in our region continues to go up every hour. Jill Orton, a regional executive, expects even more people from our area to deploy after the storm.
It's a community effort to come together locally to be able to support when the big one happens, and this is a big one.
The Red Cross is asking for donations to help support those volunteers as well as their relief efforts. You can make a donation on their website, redcross.org. Reporting live, Taylor Barth, KETV, NewsWatch 7.
All right, Taylor, thank you. And developing right now, Bellevue's police chief will be back in the office next Thursday after a year away.
Mark Elbert put himself on paid leave last year when Bellevue's police union sent a letter saying they had no confidence in his leadership. We just got a statement from the chief himself.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Chin Doan is live with these breaking details.
Yeah, in a statement this afternoon, Chief Elbert's attorney says the, quote, reckless and distorted claims made about him can likely never be undone. Elbert's attorney adds the chief hopes to work with those interested to ensure the Bellevue Police Department does not have to face the prospect of a misuse of the citizen complaint process. Now, Bellevue City Attorney says while some would question some of the management decisions Elbert made, they were within the parameters of his job title. As for the investigation into allegations of dishonest conduct and derogatory comments, the city found no basis for the chief not to be reinstated. And to avoid a conflict of interest, the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office helped with the investigation.
We are simply trying to gather facts, and that's all we're doing. So we will interview people, we'll find documentation.
Reporting live, Chin Doan, KTV NewsWatch 7. Back to you.
All right, Chin, thank you. And we are now going back out to breaking news this evening. Police are giving us our first update after sources tell us an Omaha officer was wounded in a shooting.
Let's listen in.
Everybody good? Mm-hmm. All right, my name is Deputy Chief Scott Gray, GRAY, Uniform Patrol Bureau, Omaha Police Department. At 15:55 hours today, it'd be 3:55 p.m., officers from the Omaha Police Department gang unit conducted a traffic stop at 30th and Laurel, at which time the passenger from the vehicle fled from the vehicle and fired shots at the officers. The officers returned fire, striking the passenger. At this time, an officer was also hit by gunfire. That officer and the suspect were transported to UNMC in precautionary code 3 status. At this time, both the officer and the suspect are stable and being treated. The driver of the vehicle was taken into custody. He is uninjured. The other officers, there were 2 other officers with the injured officer, total of 3 in the car. Those officers are uninjured.
Why were they stopping this car?
I don't have that information quite yet. A little bit too early for that.
Were they driving when the shots were fired, or is this when they were pulled over for that traffic stop?
They had stopped, and again, this is preliminary information, that when the driver was taken into custody, it appears at this time that the car was left in gear and actually rolled down the street where it's at rest now. So the suspect vehicle is a tan Monte Carlo.
Who opened fire first?
I don't have that information yet, and I don't know. It's just a little bit too early for that.
So the passenger started shooting while he was running away, and that's...
The passenger's an adult male.
Okay, so the passenger was running away, and he shot at officers while he was fleeing the scene.
I don't know exactly how that unfolded yet, but we'll have some more updates a little bit later once we have some more of the investigation put together.
And then officers opened fire as well?
Correct.
How many officers fired?
I don't know that.
Can you say anything about the officer injured?
Just a veteran officer and recovering at UNMC right now.
With the gang unit?
Correct.
Shot in the shoulder?
I can't confirm injuries right now.
Can you tell us male or female?
Adult male. Both the suspect and the officer are adult male.
So what happens now that you're with these types of situations and a help an officer call and an officer shot? Go through what happens next.
It's this is an investigation that'll be covered by our officer involved incident team, which handles any kind of an officer involved shooting, into custody death, any of those types of situations. And we now typically do a joint investigation with the Nebraska State Patrol. So some of those officers from that team are already here handling the investigation, and we'll just kind of progress with that and give updates as we know more information and how everything unfolded.
So it's got to be a relief that the officer is stable.
It is, definitely. It's you know, the officers face a lot of dangerous situations day in, day out, and it's just good that it appears at this time that both the suspect and the officer are going to be okay.
And so, I mean, does it take you back to 2003 with Sergeant Pratt?
Well, yeah. Or Officer Roscoe, right up the street.
Right. I mean, on this day was Officer Pratt was, you know, Sergeant Pratt was shot on this day.
Right, and it's difficult. These officers, like I said, are deal with a lot of unknown situations and people that don't have the best intentions in what they're doing. So it's difficult. It's difficult for them. It's difficult for their families to have to call an officer's family member and let them know that something's happened to their loved one. And of course, with the suspect, I mean, we certainly hope everything's good with the suspect and that he recovers and that his family, you know, is thought of too in this situation. Is
Chief Schmatter at the hospital?
He's at the scene right now.
Who all responded beyond nobody?
I don't know.
I didn't hear an answer to this, so maybe I'm asking the question again. But do you know how many officers shot and how many shots were fired?
I don't. That's all. It's too preliminary for that information right now. So we'll release more information on that once we've had a chance to kind of put together the fact pattern and get a little more information out to everybody.
Do you expect that to be tonight?
I don't know, but typically the chief he tries to get out is whatever we can verify to be fact as quickly as possible. So that's our goal.
Can you confirm that the suspects were gang members or no?
I can't do that.
So there was a traffic stop at 4 o'clock and the passenger fled the vehicle and started shooting at officers. I mean, what do you know if there was a warrant or what exactly they were wanted for?
I don't know what the motivation might have been at this point. So that'll be all part of the investigation.
Do you have an idea how long you'll be able to continue to stay here?
Just as long as it takes for the team to gather whatever evidence that they need to and conduct witness interviews. They'll have to, you know, check in with all the neighbors and look for additional witnesses, and it just takes some time to put all that together because they're going to be very meticulous and make sure that they get all the information and evidence gathered correctly.
And so is the driver, what's he being held on?
I don't have that information right now.
So is he arrested?
I don't have that information either.
How many gang unit officers were conducting the traffic?
There were 3. Yep.
Of those, you're not sure who or how many were shot, fired shots?
Fired shots? No, I don't have that information. No.
At least one officer did?
Correct. All right, I gotta leave it at that, and we'll get more information to you as soon as we can. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
That was Deputy Chief Scott Gray updating us on the information, letting us know that an Omaha police officer was indeed shot during a traffic stop. A gang unit officer was shot as he said a passenger jumped out of the vehicle and ran away from the scene and fired shots at the officer. Shots were returned by officers as well, and so they're still investigating here. They said Nebraska State Patrol is on the scene, routine in this type of situation. But again, about 4 o'clock, the gang unit was conducting an investigation, pulled over a car. The driver is being held, is in custody. That passenger was shot, and a police officer in the gang unit shot, both in stable condition. We're going to stay here on the scene for you guys and just send it back to you in the studio as we try to just stay here and get more information, hopefully get the identity of the police officer and figure out what it is that this suspect did that they needed to stop him. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Michelle Bandura reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Michelle.
And we'll have much more on that situation after the break. Also, checking the forecast. Stay with us. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
Sure.
Our country and our world changed forever 17 years ago today. But in the 6,200 days since 9/11, we still remember. Across the country today, dedications and memorials to the more than 3,000 people who died on September 11th, 2001, including a wreath laying here in Omaha.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Waverly Monroe now on the solemn tribute.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work.
Where were you?
For all my life.
It's the question we ask when we remember 9/11.
I was here in Omaha. I had just graduated from college. I actually had spent the summer in New York with my sister.
The Omaha Professional Firefighters Association remembers the thousands who were killed in the terrorist attack 17 years ago. Omaha community leaders honored them with a wreath-laying ceremony at the Omaha Firefighter Memorial.
And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And
Over the years, our disbelief and our anger turned to national pride and gratitude.
And Omaha community leaders want us to show our thanks to local first responders who still serve our community and fight for our freedoms.
On today's day of remembrance, when you see a law enforcement officer or you see a firefighter or a paramedic, take a moment, go up and thank them for what they do on a daily basis.
So we know freedom is precious, it's rare, but it's also fragile.
In Omaha, Waverly Monroe, KETV, NewsWatch 7.
God bless the USA.
A beautiful tribute today. All right, we're on the Health Watch next at 5 with the warning for men, don't ignore your health.
Live from the Burlington, this is KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5. Of this hour's breaking news, Julie Cornell is on the live desk.
Hey, thanks, David. You saw the briefing live from Omaha Police. A gang unit officer was shot and wounded today in a confrontation with a man near 30th and Laurel. The officer is still unidentified. He is in stable condition. Police say the suspect fled from the passenger seat of a vehicle during a traffic stop and then opened fire on police. Police returned fire, wounding the suspect. We don't know that man's name either yet. No one else is hurt. Streets near 30th and Laurel Avenue are closed. We'll have more from this scene live at 6 o'clock, or you can check the KETV mobile app. Alexandra?
All right, Julie, thank you. And we're on the Health Watch at 5 with a new survey showing men wait too long to mention a medical problem they're having.
Experts say they're hiding it from their loved ones and doctors, and it could be putting their lives at risk. Call it stubborn or naive, but nearly a third of men surveyed believe they were too healthy to need a checkup. Another 50% said they'd prefer to keep health concerns to themselves.
There are just a number of problems that men will kind of let go until the very abrupt, irreversible problem occurs. You want to get to these problems before they turn into a problem where you're feeling something.
For spouses and loved ones, it's important to make sure the men in your life are getting screenings for colon and prostate cancer. Blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose should be checked as well. And by the age of 50, it is critical to be seeing a doctor on a regular basis.
All right, a wobbly start for the markets today, but all indexes ended Tuesday in the green.
Bill's back after the break with his updated weather planner. Stay with us.
Tonight in Bellevue, the Kiwanis Club will have a 9/11 memorial ceremony at American Heroes Park. That starts at 6. And in Papillion, Sumter Amphitheater will hold a remembrance and military tribute. That's tonight at 6:30.
Julie Cornell's back with a look ahead to our 6 o'clock newscast.
Right, a bunch of Huskers are sporting their new black shirts tonight. We'll talk with some of them in our big Red Zone coverage. It's coming up in sports.
All right, Bill.
Guys, we had another beautiful sunny day, and still this evening, sunny, warm with that south breeze. It looks like that weather is here to stay for quite a while. The 7-day forecast having temperatures adding a couple degrees per day for a few more days here tonight. 63 the low, sunny skies tomorrow, high of 85. It will be windy, as today we saw winds 20, 25 miles an hour, about the same tomorrow.
All right, Bill, thanks.
That's our report at 5. Thank you for joining us.
Again, we're continuing to work today's breaking news from 30th and Laurel. An Omaha police gang unit officer shot and wounded there. It happened as a suspect ran from a car during a traffic stop. We are working to learn more, and we'll have continuing coverage of that for you coming up tonight at 6. Up next, it's World News Tonight.